الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله 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 ما لنا مولى سوى الله.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's put our focus towards, mashallah, creating a nice connection between our hearts and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what really this month of Ramadan is all about. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. My respected fellow ulama Qu'ran, Mufti, Qu'ran, elder brothers, mothers and sisters, if they're listening, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, whenever we have these auspicious gatherings, this is such a huge blessing and such a huge ni'mah that for us it's very difficult to understand. You know, alhamdulillah, year in and year out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the tawfiq to do these works of khayr. But a lot of times what happens, since we are human beings, right, we are all prone to the normal psychology of other human beings. And normally the way the human mind and the human brain works is that when you have something which is repetitious, right, like Ramadan, it comes in and year out, and then year in and year out, and then khatam, and then another khatam. We have our 5-time daily prayers. We pray Fajr, and then Dhuhr, and then Asr, and then Maghrib. So normally what happens is that when something becomes repetitious, you have to be careful because it's like a double-edged sword. It's got fayda on one side, but if you're not careful, it can have nuqsan on the other side. From the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have this repetitious pattern in our ibadat, whether it's our salah, whether our siyam. We fast every single morning in this blessed month, right? We come for the Taraweeh Khatam every single night. Every year in the month of Ramadan, we come, mashallah, and we have this blessed month of Ramadan. When we make our dhikr, when we make our tilawah, there's a repetition that is there. The repetition normally, like our 5-time daily salah, the benefit and the nafa is that if a person does it properly, right, it helps us. It's a repetition that we stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you do something repetitively in the proper way, this is incrementally getting better and better and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot jump from the state of Iman where we are today, from the bottom of the dregs of the pot, to reach the cream of the crop. We can't reach that in one step. No giant in any field ever reached this field in those heights, in that apex, that summit of that mountain overnight. But they worked at it. They worked really hard at it. And these lessons we learn even from these animals that we see, small little critters on the ground, like the ants. You look at one single ant and you see so puny, so small, what is he doing? Carrying a small little grain of sand. Right? It looks like such a humble, feeble effort. And when we look at ourselves, we think the same thing. You know, me coming for Taraweeh, you know, what is one small little leader need? You know, my namaz, you know, my dua, what is it? But when you look, subhanAllah, at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's barakah, when you add 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 of these small little ants, right? One thing that they do have is istiqamah. They never look down upon the work that they're doing, no matter how humble it might be, no matter how small it might be, and in their mind, no matter how insignificant a person might think that it is. Me memorizing just 3 verses, and what is that going to do? Me just praying 2 rakats, me making just a 30-second dua, what is that going to do? In the sight of Allah, what is it not going to do? Just like these small little ants, when millions of them come together, subhanAllah, they make some structures that even the scientists are astonished at what a big ant farm is this. In the same way, a small one little drop that comes down from a cloud, one small little drop of rain, it's so small when it lands upon our skin, it gets just dissolved upon our skin and it's gone. So if one single drop thought that what am I going to do? What benefit can I do? It's just small little me. I'm just coming down. What benefit is the world going to have for me? I can't even quench the thirst of one single creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What purpose do I have? And a lot of us, we fall into that mindset. But then, when you have thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of droplets of this water that comes down from the skies, subhanAllah, when they gather together, they can create a complete flood, and nothing can stand in their way. This is when we have unity of purpose, when we have a unity of mind, and when we begin to see the overall picture. From the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what He's looking at. Never deem your ibadah insignificant, and this is the purpose again. We're working towards a greater cause. We're working towards a greater goal. So never underestimate the smallest amount of ibadah that we are doing. So for us, we make hamd and shukr that Allah gave us a tawfiq again here, another year, another khatam, another blessed month of Ramadan. But the flip side that I was talking about, the double-edged sword. Now on the other side, right? Double-edged, if you put it this way, there's nafa, there's benefit, because it's going to cut whatever you aim to cut. But if it comes back this way, it can cut you very well also. When we have this repetition, continuity, what normally happens to us, speaking normally as a human being, I'm just like the rest of you also. When we begin to repeat, what happens is that we go on autopilot. Do we have any brothers who have a Tesla? You have the autopilot on your car, and it drives itself. You just let it go. You can even take your hands off the steering in certain versions at first. And it just drives itself. So Allah forgive us, when there's a repetition, we put our salah on autopilot. It's just continuing going. Where my mind is, mashallah, I'm in last night's Netflix movie. I'm in the YouTube video that I just saw. I'm thinking about the cricket match that's coming up. I'm thinking about how much money my business is supposed to make. And I'm worried about how much I have to pay the tax man. So I put my salah on autopilot. So this is the harms now. And when Ramadan comes in, as Ramadan comes, we begin and we wake up in the morning, we have our suhoor, and we're fasting, but we don't even know that we're fasting. We're fasting, but we don't know that we're fasting. We're fasting in a very autopilot, haphazard mode. Imam Ghazali has mentioned that there's 3 levels of fasting, 3 different levels of fasting. Let's see for us which level we, myself first and foremost, where do I stand in these 3 levels of fasting? The very first level that talks about Sumr Allah. This is the fasting of the general layman on the ground. The very beginning. Right? These kids and these beautiful little children that we see there in the beginning stage, even when we teach them salah, their mind is not in salah, their heart is not in salah, but they just go through the motions. You know, when you have next to a kid, a child, he's 5 years old, you go in the musalla, you say Allahu Akbar, he comes there right next to Baba and he raises his hands and says Allahu Akbar. They go into ruku in a very ajib way, they're still standing and their head can touch the ground. I don't know how they do it. Some of these kids, they're standing, but their head is in sajda. I don't know how flexible Allah made them. But we find it very cute. We find it, mashallah, subhanAllah, our heart melts. I look at my son, mashallah, he's praying now. Right? And the way that they even sing is very cute. They don't even say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It's small little kids. I don't see any. A small little child like this one. Maybe even younger. So it's the shakal of namaz, right? It's the surat of namaz. It's the outward of namaz, but the inside of namaz hasn't been built yet. So this is the beginner level. So for our soul and our fasting, the beginner level, Imam Ghazali mentioned so beautifully, it's what we normally do, but we think it's the end of soul. And what is the beginning? Soul and siyam? We stay away from food, we stay away from the drinks, and we stay away from intimacy during the daylight hours. But for many of us, we think this is the end-all and the be-all of our siyam and our roza, but this is just the beginning. He goes on to mention the second level of siyam. The second level of siyam, and he bases this on some of the ahadith of Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu. Some ahadith mentioned for us, it should be like a warning. Like I told you about that double-edged sword, if we're not careful, if we just put it on autopilot, it can come back to harm us. The ahadith he mentioned, there are so many people that are fasting, and they get nothing out of their fast, they get absolutely nothing out of their roza except a hungry stomach. That's it, just a hungry stomach, because they're not truly fasting. It's that autopilot fasting that we're talking about. And he mentions in another hadith, alayhi salatu wasalam, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلِ بِهِ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ فِي أَنْ يَدَعَ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ. Whoever doesn't leave out falsities of the tongue, telling lies, ghiba, backbiting, and all of these things, وَالْعَمَلِ بِهِ, whoever doesn't leave out these sins and these gunas while they're fasting, فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ. Allah has no need for that person to leave out his food in his drink. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need, because analyze this. What can be more blessed and more mubarak than Zamzam? You know this beautiful well of Zamzam. We go for Hajj, we ask people bring back some Zamzam, so pure, so tayyib, so pah, right? And then ajwa, these beautiful dates. Nabi Kareem alayhi salam, with his own blessed hands, he has planted some of the seeds of these ajwa dates. Can there be anything more mubarak and more blessed and more halal and tayyib? But yet, in the fast of Ramadan, if I offer you, brother, here's some Zamzam, and it's 5 minutes before Maghrib, will you take it? Say, brother, no, I cannot have it. Oh, it's Zamzam. I brought this all the way from Makkah Mukarramah. This is Ajra from Medina Munawwara, from the blessed lands of Nabi Kareem alayhi salam. This is Ajra, brother, eat it. It's so pure, so tayyib. Brother, don't you know? It's 5 minutes left for sunset. At that particular moment, Allah has made it haram. The most blessed things that we can have on the face of this earth, Allah has made those haram because we are fasting. So we stay away from Zamzam, we stay away from the Ajwa dates. But yet we make riba, we backbite, we eat the flesh of our brother behind his back, right? We chew up his flesh and we talk bad about him or we talk bad about her. We listen to evil and bad things like music and other things. We watch things that are not permissible to be watched. We do certain things like khiyana and deceit and deception at work. So we'll do all these haram things, but the halal things we stay away from. So for this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes no sense. You're fasting, oh my banda, oh my slave, you are fasting for me. You're doing all these haram things and you're staying away from the halal things. What need do I have for you to starve yourself here but then do these haram things? So for us, it's like, subhanAllah, this is a whole different level of fasting. How are we supposed to fast? When we wake up for suhoor, we wake up in the sahri time, and we make the niyyah that, oh Allah, today I'm going to keep rosa and fast for you. Make the niyyah, I'm not only just going to stay away from the drinks and the food and the intimacy, but oh Allah, I'm going to stay away from every single haram thing. Not a single guna am I going to do during my life. This is the madrasa, this is the time for us to learn, right? We practice during these daylight hours, make that niyyah. Be conscious of it. SubhanAllah, I'm not going to encroach or enter upon any haram, sinful thing during my fast and my rosa because I'm fasting. It doesn't mean we can do it later, but this is a training. The training exercise at this particular period. Once we get the tawfiq for 30 days, 29 days, to keep this type of a fast and rosa, mashallah, now we've built some strength. We've built this willpower, this taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then therefore we can kind of continue on that if I did it for the first 12 hours of the day, then why can't I do it for the remaining 12 hours of the night? Very simple. If I can do it in 1 month of Ramadan, why can't I do it in the remaining 11 months of the year? So all of this is لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ so that we may learn taqwa and consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the second level. But yet there's a third level. What is the third level of siyam? This is subhanAllah, like I mentioned, for the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The closest of the friends amongst the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to become amongst the awliya and the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Hazrat mentioned that this is Somu Ahasul Khawas. This is the fasting, subhanAllah, of the special ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how do they fast? So they don't only leave out food, they don't only leave out the drinks, they don't leave out the intimacy, they don't even leave out like the sins and the gunas and all this ma'asi. But during these fasting hours, they don't stay away from forgetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for even the blink of an eye. They're always in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I'm writing some email at work, I'm understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving me the power to type on this typewriter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving me the vision to look at that computer screen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving me the quwwat, the taqat to go around. Whatever it is that I am doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving me this power and this qudra. Right? So we stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a specific quality within the human being. It's an achieved like a sixth sense that gets awoken within the body of man. Our shuyukh, our ulama in the field of tazkiyah and tasawwuf, they talk about it very beautifully. They have specific terminologies that they use. But to make it very simple for us, it's something within the body that begins to awaken. This consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't explain it in words, but you feel it. that it's as if you are seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the eyes of your head, but you can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to this innate sense that is developed and built within us, which is this taqwa. And this is exactly the definition of ihsan. Ihsan, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ, you worship Allah as if you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِنْ لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ, if for some reason we cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spiritually, فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ, then we have this understanding that Allah is watching me. Right? This blessed hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam is a very long hadith. I don't have the time to go in depth, but the any nutshell of this particular hadith is this level of ihsan. And in this hadith, Nabi Kareem gives us a tariqah of how you reduce this level of ihsan. If you can't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yet, you're in your salah, you're worshipping, and you don't know what we're talking about, فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. Start there. Start there. That Allah is watching you. Allah is watching you. Allah is watching you. When you fast, what stops us from taking a sip of water when we're waiting? There's nobody watching. We're in the bathroom, nobody is there. We're gargling our mouths. It's a hot day, we're thirsty. What stops us from taking a small little qatba and putting it down our throat when we're thirsty? When nobody's looking and we're home alone, who's there to see us that we don't go to the fridge and just take a small bite of something? Why don't we do it? Because we understand that Allah knows. Allah is watching, even if nobody else is watching. And this is the lesson for us to learn. In this Sawm and this blessed month of Ramadan, this is what we're trying to establish, this taqwa, God consciousness that Allah is watching. Now what these ulama do, these awliya do, these sulaha, they do, is they practice upon this. They bring due attention to this. In their mind, they've split their mind. Part of their mind is doing daily mundane activities, writing an email, going to work, picking up groceries, getting some gas in the car. These are the mundane daily activities that we do anyway. But half of their mind is always conscious, is always remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, I'm short of gas. Oh Allah, allow me to reach the gas station with afiyah. Oh Allah, I can get an accident today. This can happen, that can happen. So they have this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their every step of life, every waking moment of their life, they're connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is really the goal of this siyam, this fasting, and really this whole deen and this whole religion. Coming back and shifting a little bit. See, when we have, as a human being, our focus on the mission, in any particular company or in any particular initiative, there's always some objective. There is some particular goal. They call it in these companies the mission statement. When we've established this company, we've established this project, what is the mission statement? What do we want to achieve? What is the purpose? What is the maqsad? If there's any IT people here, let me give you by way of an example. When you have a computer, or if you have any of these electronic devices like our phones, my phone is in the car, I left it amazingly enough, but you can't leave without your phone, right? So I left it in the car, otherwise I'll show you. What happens normally, as soon as you get a brand new phone, making a brand new phone, or even when you turn that thing off and then you turn that thing on, you hit the reboot button, the reset button, the computer at home, the laptop at home, what is the very, very first thing that happens after electricity comes on? Right? You have the drain battery, you recharge it, you plug that thing in, as soon as the electricity kicks on, after that, what is the very first thing that happens? What does the phone do? What does the laptop do? After turning on, what happens? It looks for some sort of command. What do you want me to do? Right? And then it looks for some sort of like a code. What am I functioned to do? What is my functionality? Right? And the people who write the programming, like if you have Windows, it's going to have a code. As soon as the electricity turns on, look for this, look for that, look for this. You have your BIOS, so you can have all of these other things, and it looks for a program to start running that program. See, nowadays, this is the age of technology, the youth and the kids that are here, Elon Musk and all of these things, they're creating the robots. And the robots are just sophisticated computers. So think in your mind, we created a robot. We ourselves created a robot. And we put the mechanics together. We put the arms together, the legs together, we put a skull and a head on that thing, and it's a robot. MashaAllah, we created it, we brought it into some sort of existence in life. And then we have the battery, we put the battery on, and we hit the on button. Is that robot going to do anything without any kind of program? It's not going to do it, it's just going to sit there. But what happens then after you turn it on? That you have to give a program. And that program is going to tell that particular robot what it's supposed to do. Right? And these robots, if you put them on, it's going to look for it and it's going to ask, who am I? What am I? What am I designed and programmed for? For us, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a very similar fashion, we are like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the batteries and He gave us life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned us and switched us on. And as soon as the on button goes on, in our minds, the question is supposed to be, who am I? Who is my creator and what is my function? Oh Allah, what is the program? What am I supposed to do? And if we follow that program, alhamdulillah, what happens? Those of us who are in these fields, we pass the QC test, quality control. This is a good working, functioning model. MashaAllah, we put it on the assembly line and go out for sale. What happens if we have a particular cell phone or a laptop that as soon as it powers on, it doesn't even recognize what it is? The program is not there. It doesn't know what it needs to do. What's it going to do? It's called malfunction. It's not working. It's not doing what it was designed to do. For us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for us a design. And what is that design? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us so crystal clear, beautifully in the Quran, and so simplistic. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I didn't create the jinn or the ins and mankind for any other purpose إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, except that they worship me. مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ رِزْقٍ. I didn't create them just to work, right? And to earn some sort of sustenance. In our mind, as being a human being, this is what we have coded ourselves. That you know what? If I don't have money, then I'm going to starve. If I don't have money, I'm not going to have a roof over my house. I'm not going to have a roof over my head. And if I don't have this and that, these are the things in the wasawas that come from the side of shaitan. We become very scared, unknown of the future. And this is normal, this is natural. Allah created us, He knows that about us. So now what happens is that we make this the maqsad of our life. All I have to do is earn, all I have to do is earn. We're successful if I have more money, we are successful if we have more assets, we're more successful if we have all of these big houses and these fancy cars. But on the flip side, the actual maqsad that Allah created us for, I never intended from them, and I do not ask from them any rizq for themselves or for anybody else. Inna Allah huwa ar-razaq dhul quwwati al-mateen. Allah, He is the razaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who gives sustenance. We don't really even need to worry about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has undertaken it from His own side. The first primary mission is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Time is running short, but I want to mention something very, very beautiful. Allama ibn Kathir mentions. It's like one of the things that for me, it really hits my heart very deeply, very profoundly. As soon as I read it, I was like, wow, subhanAllah. This is, and it is so kind of heartwarming. It kind of gives us proper direction in life. So under the tafsir of these verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the mission to humanity of what their life is supposed to be, Allama ibn Kathir says that in the other scriptures, in the other revelations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the previous ummah, there's some other verses that are very similar. They draw very similar parallels. But there's also certain things that Allah mentions in the previous revelations that are not necessarily in the Quran that we can also take hidayah and benefit from. Those verses He mentions go as follows, that Ya Abdi. So Allah speaks to every single one of us. And it's so personal. Ya Abdi, O my slave. If it's a woman, oh my bondwoman, oh my slave woman. Ya Abdi, oh my servant. Khalaqtuka bi'ibadati. Allah speaking to us directly. I created you for my worship. I created you for my ibadah. That's why I created you. So that we know, subhanAllah, as soon as the on button goes on, and then the program, what am I supposed to do? First thing, I worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know who I am. So, Ya Abdi, khalaqtuka li'ibadati. This is what we have been created for. This is our mission. Then Allah mentions, فَلَا تَلْعَبْ. If that is the mission of your life and that is the purpose of your existence, فَلَا تَلْعَبْ. Don't play around. لِعَبْ means to play, like children play around. Lahu, futility. Right? Futility, wasting of time. All the money that is being spent on futility. You know, normally when I look through the phone and I check through the different articles, of late what I'm noticing is there's a competition between these super rich people who can have the bigger yachts. The most recent article that I read, this Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook's guy, not only does he have a yacht, a boat, but his yacht has a yacht. His boat has a boat. It's a supportive boat. It's like, subhanAllah. Why does your boat need a boat? Right? So how are you just playing around over here? When you get all of these millions and these billions of dollars, you're just playing around. And I'm telling you that wallahi, when they don't know the purpose and the maqsad of life, no matter how much physical material things that you have, you're not going to get that sukoon. You're not going to get that bliss that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept in store for us. You know one thing, I've mentioned this before and I'll mention to you again. We Muslims are truly blessed. You know the hadith mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for siyam, He has kept two faraha, two enjoyments and two subhanAllah moments of bliss. One of them is at the time when we break our fasts. You know, we've been alhamdulillah starving a whole entire day fasting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We come to the masjid and we sit around the dastakhan and then we have a samosa or a pakora and we have some of the fruit chocolate and some of these things. That enjoyment and that bliss that you feel when you break your fast. The most biggest billionaires and millionaires, if they are kafar, they don't know that bliss. They don't know that joy. That excitement and that joy that you feel having completed the fast of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they've never ever in their life experienced that. But for us, alhamdulillah, we get so happy. You know, when it's time to break our fast, mashallah, everybody's enjoying, or everybody's hustling, giving them a day, giving them this, giving some water. That enjoyment they will never experience in their life. And alhamdulillah, we have that with the blessing of Iman. So coming back to that particular verse is, Ya Abdi, that, oh my servant, oh my slave, don't play around. Don't make this life as if it's just a joke, that it's just for merrymaking, that it's just for having a good time. Those things you can do, by the way, when we have our mission, our purpose in life. وَتَكَفَّلْتُ بِرِزْقِكَ فَلَا تَتْعَبْ. Allah then mentions in the previous scriptures, تَكَفَّلْتُ, I am the kafir. I have undertaken your rizq. Whatever it is that you're going to eat, whatever house that you're going to live in, and all of the expenditures that you think that you're going to have, I've undertaken all of those. فَلَا تَتْعَبْ. Don't tire yourself out. You work 14-hour shifts, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, running from pillar to post, just trying to earn more and to earn more to get a bigger bank balance and a bigger bank balance the whole life. The prime years of our life, we are spending from the time that we send our kids to school, 5 years old in kindergarten. Then they finish their high schools and they finish their associate's degree, their bachelor's degree, their master's degree, some with a PhD, go to work and training. The prime of our life of 40 years, we spend only in the pursuit of this bigger money. Go look and climb the corporate ladder, try to get a raise, try to get a promotion and this and those things, and then we equate all of these things with success. This is what we do. And it's a strange thing now that if we have to change the equation, that money doesn't equal happiness. So with the kafaltu birizqika, I have undertaken your rizq, O my banda. How much are you going to strive on these things? It comes at the state of, we have, mashallah, the brilliant minds. A lot of all of these, you know, the AI development, which is very hot right now. Some of the biggest minds in AI development, mashallah, are our Muslim brothers. I know because I met them when I went to Silicon Valley in California at the beginning of Ramadan. The best and the brilliant minds of the scientists, of the doctors, of the engineers. One of the biggest oncologist doctors that we have, mashallah, is one of our Muslim doctors in Chicago. One of the best heart surgeons that America has is a Muslim doctor. So we have the capacity and the capability to group the sharpest minds. But unfortunately, may Allah forgive us, it's all towards the world of the direction of the dunya. What happened to the deen? The very same doctors, the very same oncologists, the very same, mashallah, AI scientists and IT professionals, when you ask them, brother, how much Qu'ran have you memorized? How much do you know about your deen? How many of the fara'id do you know? So what excuse that we have before Allah subhanahu on the day of Qiyamah? The subhanallah used to put long hours to memorize for your exams. You know, in college, before you can have your medical degree, you have to memorize so many bones in the body with all the Latin terms and all these things. You have to learn the Latin language. You could learn Latin, you could learn English, you could learn all these other languages, but you couldn't learn my Arabic. So for us, what is the mission in our life? So, تَكَفَّلْتُ بِرِزْقِكَ فَلَا تَتْعَبْ. And then Allah subhanahu beautifully mentions that this part for me, this hits me right here. That Allah subhanahu says that, فَتْبِلْتُنِي, that, oh my banda, if I created you for worship, don't play around. I have undertaken your rizq, your growth, and your sustenance. What do I want from you? And then Allah mentions, فَتْبِلْتُني, that, oh my banda, oh my servant, search for me, seek for me. And this for me is like, subhanAllah, Allah wants us. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not manifest. We have to look for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to search for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, like a beautiful love tale, like a beautiful love story. Where is the love of my life? This is what I'm searching for. A person, you know when you lose a wallet and you lose your keys, you cannot find any sukoon. You have no contentment. Where's my wallet? Where are my keys? I have to find it. You're completely, incessantly looking, searching. And don't worry about it. We're going to find your phone. We're going to find your wallet. No, I need it. You know, my emails are there. My contacts are there. This is there. That is there. You know, you turn the bed upside down. Turn over here, and you're looking for it because I need it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Fatlubni." That's how we should be searching for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that fervor, right? With that jazba, with that excitement. I have to search for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where is my Allah? Where is my Allah? I need my Allah. And if I can't find my Allah, I can't find my sukoon. I don't care about this, I don't care about that, I don't care about anything right now. I must find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fatlubni. Why though? Why search for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Then Allah mentions, فَإِنْ وَجَدْتَنِي. If you search for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this frantic sense that I'm talking about, how can I please my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I please Him? I come for Taraweeh. How can I please Him? MashaAllah, I get my zakat this month. How can I please Him? MashaAllah, when I read my Quran. How can I please Him? I keep my fast in the month of Ramadan. How can I please Him? I pray my salah on time. فَإِنْ وَجَدْتَنِي. In all of these steps of life, if we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah mentions, إِنْ وَجَدْتَنِي, if you found me, وَجَدْتَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ, you have found everything. You have found everything, and this is the secret to the happiness in life. We just need to find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In all of our traverses of life, if we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our walk of life, then we have found true success, we have found true happiness. And then the ayah continues, وَإِن فُتْتُكَ. If you found everything else, mashallah, you have a nice, beautiful, expensive car. You have a 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 square foot house. You have riches upon riches and millions of dollars in the bank balance. You have a beautiful wife, and you have a lot of kids, and you have all of these things, and a pool in the backyard, and a hot tub inside and outside the house. You have several vacation homes, and you have all of these things. You have your own private chartered plane. You have your yacht, which has its own yacht. So you found everything in the dunya. You got all of it. وَإِن فُتْتُكَ, but you lost me. You lost Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَاتَكَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, you lost everything. You have nothing. And this is what we see in the lives of the kuffar. They don't have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they cannot find happiness. They cannot find happiness. Normally what happens in their lives, two things that you're going to notice. And I'll give you some examples. One of them, when they see that I have fame, I have richness, I have these boats, and I have these yachts, and I have these houses, when they cannot find happiness in any of these things, what do? There's only two options. Option number one, they come towards the deen of Islam and they find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like of recently Andrew Tate, Mike Tyson, you know, all these other famous and rich stars that we see on the television. So they turn around and I did this dunya and I didn't find my happiness. Yeah, I turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I found my happiness. And the other side, when they don't come to the deen of Islam, you know what they turn to? Just suicide. What is this world? I'm famous, I'm rich, everybody knows me. I have this whole world at my feet, and I can't find my happiness. And then when they say that there's no happiness in this world, that depression comes in because they don't have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then they just want to spend this life. But that's not the end. Unfortunately for them, that's just the beginning. And for us, and I'll conclude and terminate with this, that no matter what difficulty we undergo, no matter what hardship that we are, may Allah bless these brothers and sisters in Palestine because they're teaching us the lesson of Iman. we see them and these videos that will make your tears just come out. Yani we can't help but hold these tears, they just can't even hold them back. You see these little babies that are being tortured, tormented, blown to smithereens. You know, the pictures that we are seeing, you see our sisters how they're becoming shaheed, our brothers becoming shaheed. And then you see the interviews with these brothers that they say, you know, Radina billahi rabba. All of these things that are happening to us, we're happy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our Rabb. Right? And they're turning to each other, that what are you running away from? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us the akhirah. This dunya is nothing. It's just a fleeting couple of moments of life, the real life. In that akhirah, the hereafter, this is the real true life. So may Allah give us the tawfiq to understand the real purpose of our life when we pass